Hello everyone and welcome to Google Developer Student Club's Sri Alatiwari College of Engineering presents the info session on Solution Challenge. I know that we have been waiting for the Solution Challenge for a long time since our orientation, and today is the day that we finally know each and everything about it. So without any further ado, I would like to call upon stage Ms. Ankita Upadhyay, our project lead, to guide us through the full Solution Challenge. Over to you, Ankita.
Thank you, Shai Ashish, for the wonderful introduction. So let's begin with our solution challenge info session. So today we're gonna talk about what is solution challenge and overview about it. What are the prizes we are gonna get? What is the judging criteria? The timeline? What resources you can use? Common question and answers, and we will also look back to previous solution challenge. So let's begin. So first of all, what is solution challenge? Well, solution challenge is a initiative started by Google Developer Student Clubs. The mission of Solution Challenge is to solve for one or more of the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals using the Google technology. Well, in this, we basically look up to the 17 development goals of United Nations, and then we try to solve those problems using the Google technology. First of all, let me introduce you to Solution Challenge through this short video. So let's start with this. Okay, so that was a wonderful video about what solution challenge is, and I want to invite each one of you attending this event to solution challenge. I want you guys to register, but before registering, let us see what actual development goals we're gonna solve and if this makes sense to you. So let us look at all the 17 sustainable development goals which we will be using. So I hope you guys like that video. Well, as said, there are sustained development goals. So why these goals have been made? Well, basically, it is the goal of United Nations to develop our country or the world using that 17 sustainable development goals which they have showcased here. We aim that by 2030 we would be focusing on this problem, and not only Google but many other organizations and institutes are also working to solve these problems given by United Nations. Well, we will go in depth into it, but now let's move to the next slide. So, first of all, as we got to know about solution challenge, why I should participate or what are the prizes. So, let me introduce two prizes. As I said that you have to participate in teams, there will be top 50 teams which will be selected to go for deep mentoring phase. And if you are among the top 50 members, you will get a branded t-shirts and a certificate. And the main thing which you will get is mentorship from Googlers, which I think is a very big deal. And if your projects are selected and you are in the top 50 team, you will be given deep mentoring from Google developers. And after the deep mentoring phase, top 10 finalists will be selected and they will go for demo day. Well, if you are among the top 10 finalists, you will receive additional mentorship from Google developers, a swag box opportunity to showcase your solution to Google's. There will be a proper demo day. I'll in the end show you how demo day looks like. And let me tell you, demo day is always live on YouTube, and you will get many opportunities if you are among the top 10 finalists, because you will get to know about many Googlers who will be trying to connect with you. And if you are among the finalists, then you will receive a swag box and a cash prize of $1,000 per student. And each winning team will get around $4,000. So I think that is a big deal. And let me tell you, the contest finalist will be these top 10 finalists, which will be going. And then we have the top 3 winners, which will get cash prize of $3,000 and will get featured on Google developers blog. And you will also, the qualifying team will also get $12,000 as the prize. So these are the prizes, and you will also get digital badges and official certificate from Solution Challenge. So let's go to the next slide. Well, while you are going with your project, what will be the judging criteria? What criteria should be there to see if your project is worth it or not? So as I have already mentioned in previous session about what Solution Challenge is and about it, so I have always told that it is 60% based on the impact you make and 40% among the technology you have been using. So let's get deep into this, that what do I mean by 60% of the impact and what do I mean by 40% in the technology. So as you can see, there is a marks distribution over here, as you can see. So first of all, as you have seen, there are United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. First of all, you need to search for each development goal in depth and look at the targets which are matching your projects. We will do this personally live later in this session. So this is something which takes 10 marks of your score. And first of all, the solution you have been using, how better you have identified the solution for the proper challenge. This is where 20 marks of yours will be there. And while you have made the project, what is the future scope of your project, or how are you planning to improve it, what extension you can add. This thing will take 10 marks of yours. And apart from that, like you have created a solution, but when we develop, we think our project is better, but when we implement it real life, we find many bugs. So you need to know what is the users feedback on this, and you need to test it with real users rather than using it. You can ask your classmates to use, or your uncle aunties or your parents, etc. You can test it in real world. So you need to have an evidence that you have tested your project with real users, and you need to get feedback based on them, and you need to improve your project based on the feedbacks you have been receiving. So here are the criteria, 5 criteria which will impact your 60% of the point. And now based on the technology. So first of all, as it was mentioned that you need to use Google technology. Well, it is not compulsory that all technologies you are using must be of Google. You need to have at least one or more of the Google technologies involved in your project. It's okay if you are also using the other technologies, but yeah, you need to take care that at least one of the Google technology is there in your project, and what technical components you are using, and does the technical component you are using is able to solve the problem. This is what takes the 10 marks of yours. And you need to know that how you are running the code, what you need to explain each and everything in your demo video, that what technology you have used, how it is working, etc. This is what takes 10% of your score. And as it is said that you need to send a demonstration video of your project. So you need to showcase your project, or you need to show the live working of your project in the video, and there you have to talk about the Google technologies you are using. So this is what which will take 10 marks of yours. And you need to talk about how you have taken your technical discussions, or how effective was your team, what methods you have used to build this project, how often you had your meetings. So these are certain points which will impact your score. So I would ask each and everyone to go through this thoroughly and make sure that you are involving these points in your project, so that if you are getting selected for solution challenge, you know you have done your best, and try not to miss out any of these. So with this, I would like to move forward with the timeline. As we all have been talking about solution challenge since long, even in the previous sessions we have talked about solution challenge, that it will come around March, the results will be the results will be out on April, and then it goes till July or June, etc. So here is the proper timeline of how 2022 solution challenge will be. So first step is getting started. Well, to get started, first of all, you need to be a part of Google Developer Student Club. If you are not a part of GDSC, then you won't be eligible to sit for solution challenge, as solution challenge is for GDSCs and not for students who are outside. Well, to solve this problem, you can register with your nearby Google Developer Student Club or with GDSC SLRTCE. You can be our member, join us as a member. Then you can register for the solution challenge by submitting a form which will be circulated on our Discord groups, WhatsApp groups, etc. So don't worry about that. The message will be circulated, and a proper playlist of all the videos and everything you need will be circulated, and core team will be guiding you too. Then after you have registered for the solution challenge, the third thing you need to do is form a team, or a team of around 4 members usually, and you need to form your team, and then you need to go on your research about United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the 17 sustainable goals we have talked about. So this is what you need to get started. Well, you need to get to select any sustainable development goals or anything. You need to go through all 17 goals and their targets, what targets they are, and you need to design a project of your own. We will later talk in depth about how we can design it. Well, now the second step is, as I mentioned, that we need to design. So identify a solution. While you will be reading all those sustainable development goals target, they will basically talk about problems which we have in our society which you can do something about. So you need to take these situations and identify a problem or a solution, and build any application, or using any technology, build a software on it. Well, when it comes to learning and building, let me tell you, solution challenge is not only about building, it's about extending your technical boundaries. If you don't know about any technology, you need to learn about it. Don't think, I don't know about this technology, I'm not going to use this in my project. You need to learn about it, as this is something that will push you to learn. And even your team, you can divide your team based on these people are good in front end, so they can do the front end part. Someone who is very good at back end, you can distribute the back end part to them. Someone who is very good at identifying the problems, you can ask him or her to identify problem, target, or to script out your project, etc. And similarly, you can divide the work among yourself. And for that, later you need to start building your project, learn side by side and build it. We will be providing you resources to learn too. And after your project is built, you need to test your solution. When we say test your solution, we mean ask real users and not just your team. For example, I have built an application, so I'll go out and ask my friend or my family or anyone close to me to give me a feedback based on my project. Like, do you like the user interface which I have? Do you think this idea is good, or if we can add something? Take the user feedback, and after taking the user feedback, try to iterate, try to work on your projects, as it will help you to make your project more better for solution challenge. Well, these are the steps for getting started and building. Well, submissions will start from 31st March. So you need to, like, this all period is for solution challenge itself. We are a bit late, but yeah, you need to record a demo video and submit that video by 31st March. You need to submit your project, or you have to completely build your project by 31st March. If your project is incomplete, it's okay. You can still go and record your demo video and give it there. If they really like your idea, they will still select you in the top 50 teams, and you can later work on your project. And after submission, top 50 students will be announced. As I mentioned, they would be also given a branded t-shirt and a deep mentoring from students. So the top 50 teams, the deep mentoring phase will start from May. They have to work on their projects in May, and then in the June month again they will go from a filtration process, and top 10 finalists would be selected, and that would be announced in June. The top 10 finalists will also get some swags, which is, I guess, t-shirt and a swag box and some cash prize. Then from that, these top 10 people will go for demo day. Well, demo day is live on YouTube, where Googlers, developers from Google comes and asks you about your project. And from those top 10 finalists, we will have top 3 winners announced live on YouTube, and these top 3 winners will be the winners of Solution Challenge. And as I said, Solution Challenge is about extending your technical boundaries and not about just a competition. We want you to enjoy this competition, enjoy the phase of learning, and learn about new technologies and scope you can build in your project. So with this, I would like to hand over the session to Mr. Amay Bhavsar. Over to you, Amay.
Thank you, Ankita, for that wonderful introduction. So, as you guys were listening, Ankita, the project leader, GDSC SLRTCE, explained about the prizes and the judging criteria and the complete timeline of the solution challenge. So, before we move ahead, I would like to ask everyone that if you have understood up to now, please put a yes in the chat box. Or if you have any questions up till until now, please put your questions now, and then we can slowly reply to these questions. Okay, so if you have understood everything up to now, just put a yes in the chat box, or just spam the chat box with yes. Okay, I can see Gupta Nandini, Anurag Patel. Okay, so you guys are listening and you're understanding. That's very great. So is everything clear up to now? Okay, I can see more yeses. That's great. Okay, so now one thing that will happen is, if you're usually in the first year or you're in the second year and you're just starting with HTML or web development, it might happen that you do not know how to code. You would be like, it has really big technologies such as AI, TensorFlow, or Flutter, or app development, and you have only heard about these technologies once or twice on somewhere, such as on Instagram or YouTube. How do you exactly get started? And what if you do not want to wait a year until you are in the third year or the fourth year and do not want to participate then, but you want to participate right now in first year? And this is actually a pretty common problem, and it's not even necessary to go in an engineering college and degree. You can just start learning because of all the open source and the free resources that Google provides itself to you, so that you can itself get started. You can learn on multiple code labs. So Google has provided with 7 code labs that will help you excel your skills, and it will improve your skills. So if you are just a beginner, literally the basic requirement to get started with solution challenges, that you should know how to use a computer, and you should know how to solve people's problem, and you should find programming fun. So Google has created and I will say you that I have went through most of these courses. All of these courses are really high quality. So if you are interested in building a solution that uses Android, then you can look at the Android basics in Kotlin. So this will take you completely from the scratch how you can install Android Studio and everything. If you are looking for backend and database systems, such as if you are using Mongo, then you can go along with Firebase. Is my audio clear? Okay. Then you can go along with Firebase, such as if you want your database. If you are trying to learn how to build apps in Flutter, if you don't want to go with Android Studio, then Google also has a very good course for that, which completely takes you how you can look at all the multiple frameworks, how you can look at everything, and how you can build a full-fledged app that you can literally just go and publish on Play Store, and you can start earning money, or you can start your career. So what you learn in your degree is all the knowledge that Google is providing for free, and all of these courses are curated by Google engineers and really experts in the tech industry, and they look over the quality of all of the tutorials maintained. And each of them also have a good forum where you can ask questions. So then if you're trying to make something that uses AI or machine learning and you need neural networks, you need to integrate neural networks. There's also a course on TensorFlow. And then if you must have heard about voice assistants. So if you want to add something as just a very cool, the Google Assistant inside your own project, if you want to maybe say you want a customer interaction where the request goes to the Google Assistant, then maybe you could look over the Google Assistant and build some actions for that. If you have lots of data, if you're trying to build some economic growth analytical software, you need a lot of tools that will help you manage all the data. Then we have data engineering and analytics course. And if other than all of this, if you're trying to build a web application that uses the latest web trends, let us say you're trying to build a video conference application, if you're trying to build a chat application, something that is that where you're trying to send notifications and everything, then we also have the web pathways. In this, you will learn almost everything about the web, which will include all the latest technologies and trends. And trust me on this, guys, that all of these courses are latest and updated so that you will never miss out on something that's happening. So if you're in first year or second year, don't be scared. Just think of an idea, think of a good idea that matches one or two the UN goals, and then think how you want to build this idea or how you want to proceed in tech, and then just take a look at these courses. If you find it good, it's actually, even if you do not get the solution challenge, you will still end up learning a new technology, and in the long run, that is a really good thing. Okay, so you can see all of the 7 self-paced code labs that Google has given here. Okay, so don't be scared, just start with this. Let us move on to the next slide. Okay, so let us say now you know the technologies. You know how to build apps in Flutter, you know how to create good websites, and you know you are a tech pro now. Okay, so in the first year you're a tech pro. Let's assume the best case. And then now you want to crack an idea. You have got an idea. You want to make sure that the idea is the best idea. So for this also, what happened usually when Google initially started, Google had a company known as Google Ventures. What this company did, they went to multiple companies and mentors and startup founders, and they provided them with funding, just like any other venture capitalist. So basically, they came up with this new thing called as Design Sprint Kit. What is the Design Sprint Kit? It's a whole framework that lets you think about an idea completely from scratch. So let's say I have 1 or 2 problems. Let's say I have one of the UN goals is to solve poverty. Another one is to boost economic growth. So if I try to merge this and try to build some idea, I have a team of 4 to 5, or let's say a bigger team, then I can sit down with my team and go through the 6 steps that the Design Sprint Kit provides, so that I can make sure that my idea is actually valid in the real world. It might happen that you have a great idea, you have everything, and then you just go into the real world and your friends or people say that this idea is already existing or this idea is not so good. So this Design Sprint Kit will really help you brainstorm good ideas. So let us look at the 6th step that Design Sprint Kit has. The first step is to understand. Okay, so what happens in this understand phase is that first of all you try to get on the same page with everyone in your team. You try to share the knowledge that you have and you listen to the knowledge that others have, so that you are all on the same common shared base. Right now that doesn't mean that it's just advice. Understand, actually, if you go onto this links, inside this links, Google, the engineers and the content creators and the people who are really good at Google and multiple other companies, they have come up with a sets of multiple steps. So like on Netflix, or if you're watching some seasons or some courses, like how we have a bench format, like they have created a whole bench format where you can watch and you can look at the videos, you can read the text, you can understand that if your idea is really good. And that way they will teach you lots of methods that right now we do not have any way of learning this better, but they have really good content resources to teach you about multiple methods. One of the methods is called as the lightning talk method. In this method, what happens, you call upon multiple experts who are really good in the industry, and you talk to them about your problem. You talk to them who is your current user, who will be a competitor, and what technological challenges will face. So that is the understand phase. So after that, we have the define phase. In the define phase, what happens is, if you want to work on a problem, you first need to correctly define it so that it's not vague. It's like if I'm talking about a problem and my friends also should talk about the same problem. It should not be like I'm trying to make an app that sells pani puri and someone else is trying to make an app that sells vada pav. We should be of the same problems. So in the define phase, what happens is first we define specific context and we define what is the exact outcome that we want from this. Okay, so if it is clear up to now, please put a yes in the chat box. Is anything unclear up to now? Okay. Okay. Anurag has put yes. Nilisha has put yes. Okay. So let's move ahead. Uh, for all of these 6 phases, there are very good methods in complete depth that have been explained on this link. We will share this PPT with you, and I recommend that you go through the link that is Design Sprint, and you go through all of these links, and you actually understand how you can solve a problem. Because even outside the scope of solution challenge, this will help you in multiple things such as hackathons and everything. So once you are done with the define phase, there is a sketch phase. What happens in the sketch phase is you start coming up with small ideas. Like you have designed the problem, like there's a very small problem. You start to come up with small ideas that will help you solve the problem. You have a team of 5 people, then all of the 5 people will come up with at least one solution per member. So that is what happens in the sketch phase. And then next we have the decide phase. In the decide phase, you have a whole list of ideas, let's say 20, 30 ideas, how you can solve something. Then you sit down and you cross off some ideas slowly until you reach on to 1 or 2 ideas that are really good. So that is the decide phase. And this might sound very vague when we talk about it and very abstract, but there are a lot of techniques, such as in sketch there is crazy eights, and in decide there is present solution sketches. So using these techniques are very well defined. So using these techniques, you can actually make it very simple to come up with the idea and select the good idea and discard a bad idea. Okay, so after this we have the prototype phase. Okay, so you have a great idea, you have also validated with your friends, but it might happen that it's hard to build, or it might happen that the most minimum product is very hard to build, or it's not really good, it's really slow. Then this is where you actually get started coding. This is where you build a very small version, a very minimum viable product of your app, a small prototype, and you share this with other people who are not in your team. That way you get external feedback, you get validation, and this is very important before you actually start building an idea. Okay, if you want to climb a big mountain, you do not just start climbing, you ask other people, or you go on smaller treks, right? This is how it works. So in prototype phase also, there is a lot of things such as storyboard, and there are multiple prototyping tools that Google has provided with you. You can go through all of this and you will understand it very well. And finally, if you have built a prototype and it's working awesome, everything is working good, then we finally have the validate phase. What happens in the validate phase is you call upon all of the users that you have shared the app, and they all give you the feedback. So if inside your mind you are saying that my app is very good, my app will change the world, someone might, just 5 users might come and say to you, no, your app is not good, already an app exists like this. So there are a lot of things like this you can do. So this is the part where you need to be honest with yourself. This is the part where validation is going to help you create a better app. It's going to let you know what exactly your users need, and that's how you solve good problems. Okay, and even if, let's say, it may happen, it actually happens a lot of times, that you have a great idea, you also created a prototype, but your app idea is not validated, people are not buying it. But still don't be sad about it, because either way you have made some progress, you have learned a new thing, you have created a new idea, you have much more people that you know now, so that the next time you have an idea, it's going to be much easier to build a more validated idea. Okay, so Design Sprint Kit is a resource that Google has provided, where for all of these 6 steps that I just described, you can go in depth and understand very good methods how you can identify ideas and discard bad ideas and validate ideas. So this Design Sprint Kit is going to be very useful if you're in the solution challenge and you want to submit your idea, want to make sure your idea is going to work 100%. Okay, so that's about Design Sprint Kit. If you have any doubts, then just put the doubts in the chat, or if you understood, then put a yes. Okay, so everybody seems to be pretty smart. We can move on to the next slide. Okay, so since we are using the Google technology, it might happen that lots of technologies are not free. One of them is Google Cloud. Google Cloud does not give you a free, it initially gives you a free tier, but if you're trying to build an app, you definitely need to test it a lot. And if you're trying to build an app that uses lots of memory, then you need to put even more resources into it, and you cannot always pay for this app, right? So there is a thing that you can ask Google Cloud to give you free credits if you're a participant of the solution challenge. and you can use these credits only for your project. Okay, so there are 4 steps how you can do this. First of all, you need to obviously go and register at the solution challenge. If you're not done that, please just go on this link and register that. And please, and if you, when you submit an application for the project, please mention that you're going to use Google Cloud in your solution so that they know that you will actually need the credits. Once that is done, Google does not provide credits to all of the countries around the world. So Google has created an Excel sheet on, you can see the step number 2, just open this Excel sheet and you will check if your country is there. If you are from India, obviously India is a part of that, so you are cool there. Once that is done, make a team with 4 people, and then once that is done, submit your team, and around I think now the next week, that is going to be when the Feb starts, then you will get an email from the Google Cloud team that they are going to provide you credit, and they will give you all the instructions and what the steps you need to do. Once that is done, you need to take one student from your team that will fill the form, and once the form is filled, they will redeem credits to your Google account, and then you can use that. You can, if you do not know cloud, then you can also use those credits to learn more about cloud. If you want to do something like load balancing, or if you want to host a AI model or something. So that this is one thing you can do, and that is how you can get free credits from Google. So that is it from my side. So now I will ask Ankita to take over.
Thank you, Amay, for the wonderful introduction about the design sprint. Now I'm really positive about building our project. Well, so as Amay mentioned that we can redeem the Google Cloud credits, and also he talked about the design sprint board, how you can come up with ideas. Well, I would request all of you to go through all of these 17 sustainable development goals before getting an idea. Read about the goal you want to work for, or you think you have an idea about this goal. For example, as I have also always mentioned about certain projects about solution challenge. For example, I want to start about a project which focuses on mental health, or a project which can help me to reduce hunger. As in the previous session we had in GDSC, I had always talked about creating a project which can reduce world hunger. So what targets or what goals am I covering if I'm going with the project of world hunger? Like we have zero hunger and we have no poverty. First of all, if I want to take this target of zero hunger, I'll go to this website first of all, which has 17 development goals, and then I'll select this goal. And for example, now here we talk about briefly about what this goal actually works on. So as you can see, the goal number 2 is about ending hunger and achieving food security and improve nutrition to promote a sustainable agriculture. So how can I solve this problem? First of all, here is an overview of this goal, why this goal was created in the first place. As you can see, the pandemic has affected all of us, and especially for the people who are in poverty, who doesn't have a proper shelter or proper access to food. And due to this, a lot of chaos has been created and lot of people are suffering from it. So here is the problem which we are talking about. Here we have target and indicators. In this target, we talk about, when we talk about zero hunger, what we are exactly talking about. So as you can see, there are multiple targets. You can go through all of this, and from here you can pick out points which are matching up with your ideas. And you can also see what is the progress made in this goal, so such that your project or your idea is not clashing with any of them. So here are some of the publications, some of the events which are happening. Well, if you, as Amay mentioned, you can have a sprint board, get a discussion with your team. But I think what a common problem all of us must be facing is that we are lacking with time. Like, if I will specifically talk about our college, second year student, third year student and fourth year student, all of us are really messed up with our mini projects, as we also have to build our mini projects right now, and we really feel from inside, nahi yaar, itna time nahi hai, वापस से कौन इतना सारा project बनाएगा, who will go through all this. So there is also a thing you can do, is you can alter your project for this solution challenge. Well, how can you alter it? So first is building a project from scratch if you already have, and second thing you can do is know about your own project. For example, I'll talk about two of my project. My second year project was face mask detection and attendance system. Well, that moment COVID was at its peak and everyone had that restrictions with mask and all. So we tried to identify this as a problem and we made a solution for it. Well, the solution made by us was to installing a face mask attendance system in airports or maybe hospitals, in schools, etc. So if I'll talk about it, I think my project goes well with the third goal, which is good health and well-being. So I'll go and click on the more information here. I think this is what it is. So I will make a sticky note over here and I'll write my idea, which was face mask detection. So here is my sticky note with my idea. So now I will try to identify which are the goals which are matching with my idea. So as I can see, as you all can see, here we have talked about how pandemic and lack of data and how everything has affected the health sector of our world so much. Like we have problem with reproductive health, maternal health, child health, and even COVID has made the huge impact on it. So here we have an overview about the problem, and we also have events that have taken place, the publications which you can read to explore your ideas. Well, now we can go on target and indication to find out about if my project is solving any of these. So the first target is about maternal issues, which I don't think my project is anyway solving. Then in the second point, we have to prevent the death of newborn. This is also something which I don't think my project is solving. And now here we have by 2030 and epidemics of AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, and tropical disease, waterborne disease. This is also something which my project is not solving. So first of all, I'll just go and go through all of these targets, which I think my project will be solving anyhow. So like for example, here we have so many targets. So we have to identify the target and suppose if any target is matching my project. So I'll go and write here target 3.A or whatever it is trying to solve, and like this I'll have the whole target. So when I talk about face mask detection, I'll have to identify which problem it is solving, and you have to go through all of this target and see what is your project getting here or not. So this is something, well, when I talk about my face mask detection project, it uses TensorFlow and Keras, which means it is already using a Google technology. So I don't have to work much on finding the Google technology or something. I'll have to first talk about 17 sustainable goals, what goals I'll be using, and how I can alter my project for the solution challenge. So I don't have much work here because I already have this project made. Well, my recent project is about crowdfunding using blockchain. Here we basically we provide funding for startups. We already have a website called as Kickstarter, which provide crowdfunding. Like suppose I have a startup idea, I'll write it down on this website, and if people think my project is worth it, they will invest in my project. So this is what crowdfunding means, and we have tried to implement this whole project on blockchain, and my project nowhere uses Google technology. So what can I do? Well, when I talk about my crowdfunding project, it solves a problem in the goal number 8, which is to promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth and full and productive employment. So how is my project affecting employment? Well, in the crowdfunding, we are basically helping startup to get financial support, and through this financial support, a lot of job opportunities can be created. So here I will again go to targets and try to identify. Well, here my target, which is 8.3, is matching my project idea, which is promote development oriented policies that can help to support decent job creations, entrepreneurship, and to promote growth of small and micro-sized enterprises through financial services. So here I have identified one of my targets. So I'll go there, make a sticky note about my crowdfunding project, and I'll write which target it is using. So likewise, you can write down your ideas and what target it is using. So in my crowdfunding, it is basically on blockchain, which nowhere uses Google technologies. But what I can do is I can make this whole application connected to an Android application, as we have studied Android study jams already. So I know a bit about Android, so I can make my whole project. This whole project will be created on website, so I can shift it from website through my Android application, or maybe I don't want to go through all that. So I can also use, instead of using the database, I can use cloud Firebase. I can also add cloud into it. So there are certain alterations that you can also do in your project, which is your basic mini project, because I feel even when you were creating your mini project, you were trying to solve a problem. So if it is such, you can also come up with your mini project that can be also eligible for solution challenge, until and unless you have started your mini project in after April 2021. If it is after that you have started working on your project, you are eligible to take that project in solution challenge also. So I hope what I said is clear, or if you guys have any doubt, you can write it down. Okay, I guess I had one doubt. If I don't know coding, can I make my team with seniors who are good in college? Yes, obviously. First of all, while team formation, I want you guys to note that your team should contain people, one who is good at coding, one who is good at identifying problem leading, or who can identify all the sustainable development goals, and who can take user feedback. And depending on what all technologies you are using, you need to assign your projects to learn. Like, suppose I have 4 members, one of them is very good at backend, one of them is very good at front end. So I can assign them that way. And if you will go through the whole sprint board, which Amay mentioned, it clearly talks about how you can divide your work among the team and etc. I hope whatever I have said made sense to you guys, and if it did, please drop a yes or no in the chat box, or your doubts. Okay, I got one yes from Amitesh Yadav. What about rest? There are 16 people over here. Okay, I also got one from Nandini. Yes, so I think you guys are understanding. First of all, people who are in FE, you might have issues with building your project. You can contact the core team. And for people who is not having a proper team member, or do only have 2 members in your team, you can take these FE students, guide them and mentor them. Let me tell you, solution challenge is not about just winning, it's about improving your technical skills and community skills. ऐसा नहीं है, you can make any software, anything you can make which is solving a problem. It is not necessary to be a website or an application. It's like normal हम लोग पाइथन में सॉफ्टवेयर बनाते हैं, जावा में बनाते हैं, वैसे तुम्हें कोई भी सॉफ्टवेयर बना सकते हो, बट यू नीड टू मेक श्योर दैट योर सॉफ्टवेयर इज यूजिंग द गूगल टेक्नोलॉजीज. एंड एज मैं मेंशन कि तुम लोग क्लाउड से क्रेडिट ले सकते हो इफ यू डोंट नो हाउ टू यूज such technologies, which is Android, Firebase, etc. Google has also offered you with self-placed labs. You can also access through that. So if everyone is clear, I'll move forward with the next slide. So what are the common questions you guys must have? First of all is the problem. As I mentioned कि तुम्हारा mini project है, it is important that your mini project is solving one of the 17 sustainable development goals problem. If it is not, then you won't be eligible for solution challenge. So you need to make sure that it is solving any of the problem. And yeah, when we talk about team, there should be maximum 4 members in the team, and you need to also make sure that one student is only in one group. one student cannot participate in 2 3 groups or help people in other groups. Like you can help each other, but you can't ask for credit ki I was in this group, so I want to be the member of this group. Nothing. One person can only be a part of one group. And also, if you want to be in solution challenge, you have to be a part of GDSC. It can be any GDSC, so that will do. And if there is no developer student club in your college, what you can do is you can join another GDSCs which is nearby you. You can join GDSC SLRTCE too, and you can come with us and submit your project and solution challenge. Well, also, as the COVID situation is there, we have social distancing and there might be issues with testing your project, so judges will consider this. So judges will also consider the limitation, but it is not like you have to make a team, you have to build a solution, you need to find users to test the solution, and you need to, like, there are certain limitations which judges will consider, but you need to make sure that you are not pulling yourself back because of this. Try to make sure that you are not facing this, and if you are, you can contact any of the core members. We will try to help you too. And if you have any other doubts which are not mentioned in this FAQs, you can mention it in the chat box. You can try to solve it. If you guys have any doubt, you can pin it here right now so I can solve it before moving to the next slide. And if you don't have any doubts, just write a clear or maybe yes. Okay, so last time we will still clear all these doubts, so don't worry if you haven't asked yet. Well, now we come to the demo day. Well, demo day में सिर्फ 10 लोग जाते हैं, which are the top 10 winners of the solution challenge. We already have a 2021 demo day का playlist which will be forwarded you on Discord and WhatsApp groups. Now I think तुम लोग ने इतना project के बारे में सोचा, तो you must be excited about knowing what type of project we can build and कैसा होता है वहाँ पे. So if you guys are excited to watch this video with me, then let's begin with the video.
And now we have the team from Eye of God, an app featuring an easy-to-use navigation system that helps people with visual impairment navigate to their destinations by themselves without needing the assistance of others. The app is built with Firebase, Flutter, Google Cloud Platform, TensorFlow and more by Anish, Gayatri, Jatin and Priyanka from the KG Somaiya College of Engineering in India. Welcome team.
I go with someone else. I generally don't go on my own to new places.
Eye of God is an easy-to-use navigation system built for visually impaired people to help them navigate to the destination safely.
Hey Siri, open Eye of God.
Welcome to Eye of God. Please choose a navigation mode.
Start outdoor navigation. Take me to Santa Cruz.
As the car approaches, the system alerts the user via voice feedback along with vibrations on the side of the belt.
The belt comprises of 4 vibration motors, and the motor corresponding to the region where the obstacle lies vibrates according to the distance from the user given by the duct map.
Head north towards Central Library Road.
Motorcycle. Car.
All systems run completely on-device, which eliminates the need of internet or cloud-based systems for processing and reduces latency dramatically.
Turn left onto Central Library Road.
On a turn, the system provides voice as well as pulsating haptic feedback through the leftmost or the rightmost motor, depending upon the turn, to inform the user the correct direction to turn to. The obstacle avoidance system does not provide voice feedback for relatively less dangerous obstacles. The lack of voice feedback and increased intensity of the motors depicts the same.
Take me to Nike.
Taking you to your destination.
Indoor navigation offers text detection along with obstacle avoidance to guide the user to their labeled destination.
If the label is detected in the frame, a pulsating vibration will be produced, while a constant vibration will be produced on detection of other obstacles in the frame to avoid collision.
You have reached your destination.
This is great.
Hi, it's so good to be here with all of you. Great project. Hi, Anu. Awesome. Well, this is a great project. Thanks so much for being a part of the Solution Challenge. I really enjoyed Eye of God. Anu, I know you have a couple questions for the team, and also if you want to introduce yourself again.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Anu Srivastava. I work in developer relations at Google for our cloud, artificial intelligence, and machine learning team. So we get to teach people how to use these APIs and services so you can integrate machine learning into the applications or services that you're building so you can better solve your problem, which is the whole point of Solutions Challenge. So I'm so excited to get to talk to you. This is truly an inspirational solution. What inspires you to tackle this, and how did you get started?
So it was really difficult for us to pick a cause and objective for this project. We all deliberated and spent time on picking a truly unique and globally resonating topic. Our inclination towards the specially able population grew during our brainstorming session, where we were discussing on one of my dad's projects, which is called Drishti, which means vision, where they had taken up a challenge on developing a prototype for reusable lenses, which are affordable to commoners, enabling a wider reach. We reached on a consensus that all are thinking about the abled ones, but what about the ones who are differently abled?
So we thought of doing a deep dive session and agreed to collect viable data to firm up a cause. The data which we got shocked us. India has nearly 40 million people who are blind or visually impaired against a global figure of 285 million. And in a country like ours, where there's a massive flow of traffic in every part, navigating busy urban landscapes can get extremely challenging. So seeing the plight of our visually impaired stranded on the roadside without receiving adequate attention from people and fueled by our desires to build something that benefits the people of our society, we came up with our solution, Eye of God. So we started off by breaking down our idea into smaller chunks, majorly being navigation and obstacle avoidance. The navigation part was relatively easier due to the existence of Google Maps API, but the real research went into the obstacle avoidance. So we pooled up our resources to think of more efficient ways of giving the user feedback of the surrounding obstacles. And that's how we laid the foundation of our project.
Wow. So speaking of, integrating these services into hardware, tell us more about the process of actually working with the hardware and what were some of the challenges that you encountered?
So, unlike the other systems in this domain, ours takes only two inputs, that being the camera image for obstacle avoidance and location for turn-by-turn navigation. So we use the single device, that is the user's smartphone, for capturing the image, processing it, providing control signals to the haptic feedback, and to access the gyroscope for navigation and turning. The directional vibrational feedback was provided to the user with the help of 4 vibration motors connected to the ESP32, which are mounted on the waistband. The smartphone provided control signals to the ESP32 via Bluetooth Low Energy. So that was all the hardware that we used.
Moving on to the challenges, the acquisition of hardware component was quite challenging during these unprecedented times. Moreover, assembling the circuitry was also very difficult, as we weren't able to access any PCB manufacturing or fabrication services. During stage 1, we used a cloud backend with Flask for image processing, but we were facing a lot of latency issues, giving us around only 2 to 3 FPS. This led us to explore and switch on to the on-device implementation of the same, where we were able to achieve around 15 FPS. Lastly, running multiple TF-like models simultaneously bottlenecked the CPU, and this left us with very little breathing space to incorporate certain features into our solution, such as detecting zebra crossings and guiding the user to walk along a straight path. These were the most significant challenges that we faced.
Great, thank you. Thanks so much for sharing. And we do want to bring in an audience question. So let's pull that in now. So thanks, Deshant, for asking. How did you test your app in the real world?
So because of the pandemic, we tested the solution on ourselves, which is basically like testing the worst case scenario, as we aren't trained to walk without vision. So one of the team members wore the headset as well as this belt, which allowed us to test the solution. So the second team member was keeping a watch on the first one to ensure his safety, and the tester deliberately ran into obstacles to test our solution and check the user's input and output. So this gave us some interesting results, and we shared them with our user study participant, who is a developer at Google itself. So he shared that one of the features, which is approaching vehicle detection, isn't as useful in the real world as, according to him, his safety depends on the sense of the driver as well as his responsibility. That's why we had to scrape out that feature from our project. So testing gave us a really good insight of our project and helped us iron out a few bugs and features here and there.
That's great. And thank you for showing that to us. That's really amazing. Awesome. So yeah, Anu, did you have any other final comments or questions?
Well, I just want to say, again, this is truly inspiring. And something that in particular I really liked about your solution is that you're committed to making this a affordable apparatus for anyone to acquire. So I think that's really admirable, and you're able to accomplish so much with the hardware and the services that you did use.
Yeah, great job. Thank you so much. And to the audience, if this is your favorite team, please do vote for the People's Choice Awards. That is open throughout this whole show. So please go to slido.com, GDSC 21 is the code, and vote for your favorite team. So thank you all so much. It was great learning more about your awesome project.
So I hope you guys liked how the demo day worked. If you have anything you have to say regarding the demo day, you can ask your questions over here. As you see, we are not only limited to software, we can also bring hardware to our ideas. We can add cloud, Google Maps, etc. Which anything which you think can make your project better, you can add it. If your prototype is very nice and they really like your idea, you will go in the top 50, which is deep mentoring phase. As they mentioned that the Google developer also helped them to identify which of the versions of the project was good and how this feature is not good enough, how it is not applicable in real life. So, and they also had a user which was giving constant feedback to them. So this is similar to how we need to make our project, and this is how demo day looks like. So if you guys have any doubts regarding our session or anything regarding this, you can ping us. So with this, we end our session, and we can't wait to see what your team builds, and we would really like you to go up with your projects, come up with your project, even if it is your mini project, research about your project, how you can make it better. So with this, I would like to hand over the session to Sai Ashish. Hello, Sai.
Yeah, hey. So thank you, Ankita, and thank you, Amay. It was a very insightful session. You guys covered a lot of details. It was very interactive, and it was very exciting. Even the audience were very interacting with us. So yeah, if you guys have any doubts and if you're looking forward to it, then please drop a message like, yeah, you are gonna build a team, and obviously we are there for you. All the core team members are available. You can text us anytime. We have all our leads. We have technical lead Amay, and for all the project guidance, you can contact Ankita. And if you want anything domain specific, you can always reach out to the domain heads. Not only that, if you even want any guidance, then me and Saloni are always there. So yeah, with that said, if you have any questions, we will be more than happy to have those. Else, we can bid adieu for today. Just type in the chat box if you have no queries, and if you are
Yeah.
ready to build the solution challenge together.
Also, if you want to build and participate in solution challenge with your friends outside the college, you can also do that. People from other GDSCs can also participate. Well, how many times? It's like one time we have solution challenge each year. You can participate with a group of 4 members, and you can be only a part of one group. You can't have multiple groups. I hope that answers your query, Nandini. If anyone else has any questions, you can just drop it off. We are here to answer you.
Okay, so I think there are no more questions. Amay has dropped our social media links, so be sure to follow and interact with us through the various social media platforms. And we'll see you guys in the next session. Thank you for attending.